Hello everyone, Treecks here, and welcome to the final part of my extra videos of F-Zero X Expansion Kit, where I show off all of my custom tracks. Even though I did officially finish it already, because of showing off my final cut of my custom-made F-Zero game, you might say. I still had 6 more tracks extra, because of still having some ideas, you might say. And those I actually also poured into a cup. Let's also not forget to use all of the super machines. Still feels nice actually having all of these. Really reminds me of all the custom colors you can actually input in F-Zero 99. Also something nice to talk about. But this is going to be the first video that I've made on this channel after a new F-Zero game actually releasing. Very unexpectedly we actually received a remake of the first F-Zero game in a Battle Royale form, F-Zero 99. Also very fun. Let's make sure all of my tracks are inputted. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, and it also saved it, so all of my Ace Cup tracks are still here. And therefore, it is time for us to play them. Not F-Zero 99 quite yet. This is going to be my final coverage, Let's Play-wise, when it comes to F-Zero X. And F-Zero X, I still have 6 more tracks left. And the first one is going to be my second space plant. A track where I played around with special tracks yet again. Only this time in a bit of a weird way. In order to honor F-Zero 99 in this game, I do feel like, because of this being an F-Zero video, that I need to address it a bit. I am going to pick my favorite character from that game, and that is going to be the Wild Goose. When it comes to F-Zero or F-Zero 99, my favorite machine is actually the Wild Goose. From the 4 original machines, of course, these 4. I did only pick him once, at the beginning of the project. And I always like to actually ride around here with this black coloring in F-Zero 99, so I think I'm going to do the same here. And this is therefore going to be my machine of choice for the final F-Zero X Expansion Kit video. Time for us to return to pipes, cylinders and half pipes. And this is how it works here. You can see pipe, big pipe, small pipe, big pipe, small pipe again. A similar gimmick comparable to the first Sand Ocean that I actually made in my game, where I actually used tracks to become wide and small, alternating in that sense. And that concept I now reused with the special tracks. Do the same with the cylinders now. Small cylinder, and becoming big again, small again, and then end. And now the final part with the half pipe. I must admit that this is actually a track that I heavily edited at some point. I must also admit it does not look as clean as it does in the original form that I actually designed in the F-Zero X execution project. The one that actually functions on emulator, not per se in the expansion kit version. For some reason my placement of the points there did not really work in the expansion kit. And actually broke down the track, not making it work on the expansion kit version. And therefore I actually had to readjust some of the location of the points, making the track first of all a lot shorter. The original was a lot longer. For some reason it did not function in the F-Zero X expansion kit course edit. Still not too sure why not, but unfortunately it did not, and therefore actually had to readjust the track in multiple locations. And this actually became the end result. Therefore a good thing that we actually start off with this track, because this is by far the ugliest of the tracks, therefore. I'm definitely not agreeing how it turned out, but without changing the layout of the course too much, this was the only thing I could actually make with the track still being functional. For that, my apologies. But this is actually the only track this applies to, so don't have to worry about the other 5. Those are going to be way more fun to play around on. At least those still have their original form. This one, even though with a couple of alterations, is still a track that I was able to clear. We are still alive. Keep all of our stock for the upcoming more difficult tracks. It's something we can try with maximum capacity. Second track is going to be Red Canyon number 3, Spiral Twister. I must admit, one of my favorite tracks that I ever made, design-wise, which you can already see on the map. This is one of my favorite ones. It looks really nice. At least on the map. While playing it, it can be a lot less Awesome, because it is once again going to be very challenging, of course. Let's get started with Spiral Twister. A track that is already weird in its beginning, because we actually start going downward towards the ground. This track is made in such a way that we start with an outer ring and then slowly make our way inward in one giant circular motion. It is not going to be a giant turn towards the right, because of course the track is going to bank upside down at some point, starting right here. And that will actually make the track go left. It's also very tricky because of us being upside down. You don't want to hit the jump plates or the traps, of course. Because as the computer players are showing, that will kill you. Also something that we used in earlier tracks, of course. My third port town actually made use of that. Oh, there's some more computer players who are going too fast. Fell off the track there. And I have no doubt the black pool is also going to fall off at some point. I cannot remember meeting a CPU that was able to actually get towards the end of this track. At least all 3 of the laps. Are you able to stay on, Black Bull? Or are these jump plates going to be your downfall? No, you slip smart enough to actually avoid them. Smart computer player we're dealing with here. Yeah, and even now he still is on it, but now he hits the minefield and he's still gone. Poor Black Shadow. He thought he was going to become the champion at last. Whoa, whoa. That looked weird. Yeah, that final section of turns is actually a really complicated section with the track go pretty much everywhere. So even if you get lifted off the track, you usually do end up falling on it again. Creating some hilarious situations sometimes. There's a booster over here. There's not a whole lot of chances to boost these super difficult tracks, but still. Sometimes you still can. Stay to the right to avoid the minefield. That should be safe. Try not to boost over here. This complicated section of turns is something we can fall off, like I've proven, so... Bank left. Bank right. Boost our way across the finish line, going downward. Also unique on this track. This is actually the only track where I did that, so... Reminds me of Wildwoods, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Also the only track where something like that happens. That was track number 2. My third one is going to be the second Devil's Forest. Finally, took a while. And that is going to be Double Dive. Comparable to the second Rainbow Road that I made, where I actually used the concept of diving introduced in the track Dive in the original game of the expansion kit, but actually turn it into one of my own gimmicks. And this one using more than one dive. A little bit of a side project that I once created. This track was never really intended to become a track of my set of extra tracks, you might say, but after creating that Rainbow Road track with Dive, I was actually inspired enough to immediately afterward try to make another one. And that turned out to be become this one. And therefore this track became one of my set tracks for the Ace Cup afterward. The moment I had some spare tracks after finishing off my Joker Cup, this one was obviously also going to be part of that extra set of tracks. Pretty fun track, not per se that complicated compared to the previous two. But it is a track where you can get some nice speeds. This one is not per se difficult, this one is more of a speed racing track again. Also something F-Zero is known for, of course. Whee! Yeah, that's the whole reason why I wanted to use the gimmick twice. Diving. For some reason that is so fun to do. Actually releasing the track the moment you are going vertically. And then instantly plummeting towards the ground. Final lap. This one's going to be over quite quickly. This is one of my shorter tracks here in the Ace Cup. Not going to be as long as the finale of the Joker Cup. Sand Ocean 2. That one took really long, especially since I died twice in it too. Jump. Jump. Mine. The final big jump. And we are done here. And that was the third one. Bye. Oh, computer players. If only we were able to program them in such a way that they're able to actually do these tracks. And that is the only downside of the course edit. Even though it's really fun to use the course edit, that I've proven hopefully by now. The only thing that is missing is the fact that the computer players are not able to be programmed in such a way that they can actually play these tracks. Speaking of playing tracks, we have the third silence. This one I especially designed in order to play around with sliding. Even though it's of course not the most optimal track when it comes to sliding. Design wise I was not really that great yet when I was younger. I'm the first one to admit that. Some of these tracks don't really look that awesome. But back in the day, this is what I came up with. Only one way to play this stage. Full acceleration. Silence 3 slide road. Let's go see. We have two giant spirals going upward. One of them going left and one of them going right. And in these spirals we can just go all out in losing our grip and sliding away over 900 kilometers per hour without even boosting. So much fun to do. Computer players are going to be gone after the jump because of course they are not able to learn it yet again. Then we use a giant spiral going to the right. So if you'd like to test out some of your sliding, learning the control and stuff like that, you can actually build a track like this and play around with that. And I'm almost out of energy. First freaking lap and I'm not even boosting yet. I'm already running out of energy. Great job. But now we have booster, so we can even go to higher speeds. Don't really dare to boost too much. I'm only going to end up killing myself if I do. Oh, I should have just added more pit areas in this track. I did actually add this strip pit area in the second twister. Stay on the left side of the track. Yeah, right over here. There I did actually add one. After this jump. Double tap. Which is still a reliable strategy, even than sliding. Even in max acceleration strats, it still feels like a nice way to control your car. Whenever using double taps. For some reason it still feels nice to do sliding. Like I admitted during the Let's Play itself, I'm still a bigger fan of using the sliding in F-Zero GX. There it actually feels a lot more natural to start sliding around. It's still a bit of a complicated maneuver in this game. And therefore one I've never really gotten down. I'm also not bad at it as you can see, but I'm definitely also not a pro when it comes to sliding. Jumper strats still have my preferred way of playing. But I still wanted to honor sliding as well in one of my custom tracks, and it ended up becoming this track. More of a training track therefore than an actual challenge. And therefore not part of the regular set of tracks. From the Jack Cup to the Joker Cup in my sense. Part of the Ace Cup. And that makes 4. Only 2 more to go. Second to last is going to be the second Whiteland. And this is going to be Ice Track. A track that was designed in such a way that it was not too difficult, but also not too easy. Unlike some of the previous tracks that we mostly saw in the Joker Cup. I think this is one of the few that is not per se insanely difficult. And this is a track that could have been a regular F-Zero track. Definitely a very challenging one, but not per se an impossible one. Let's go see if we can play around on this one. Whiteland 2, Ice Track. Let's get started with a nice little half loop. Computer multiplayer already fell off. Yeah, it's pretty obvious the gimmick here. Ice track. The track is going to be littered with ice strips in the middle, on the left, on the right, sometimes even left and right. Of course, also having some gaps in the road in order to make it extra challenging. But this track was designed in such a way that I actually really have the feeling it never becomes really difficult. This is all still doable. Just keep your double taps under control. Every single turn, even these complicated ones, should be something I'm able to do. Also a track that I must admit I'm kind of proud of. This one, design-wise, did turn out really nicely. Some of them didn't, and actually need to rely on their gimmick a bit more. This is a gimmicky track that did turn out to become a well-designed. Still one you can easily die in, of course, so still be careful. Knowing me, if I start taking risks, then I'm still going to end in a ball of fire somewhere on the ground. Just do this carefully. This is probably the most difficult turn in here. Even that one I was able to survive. Time for the final lap. Final time we're going to be listening to this awesome music. Climb up and get the last chance. The remix from the F-Zero X expansion kit. In fact, after this one there's only one more track we need to play. And we can definitively and finally close off F-Zero X on this channel. Perhaps in the far future, if I get more inspiration to make more tracks, I'll be able to show those off. But besides that, F-Zero X is going to be finished. It's time for us to start thinking about the next F-Zero project. But we still have one more track to do. The final track that I ever designed. And the computer player fell off again. And not even at the part where I expected him to fall off. Oh, these guys are so interesting to watch sometimes. The final track, of course, they're also all going to die. Even that one, they are not programmed to play. Firefield 2. I must admit, not per se the most original one. Perhaps also the reason why I've decided to stop designing after this one. This one is yet again going to be based on a gimmick of special tracks. Therefore saying the pipe, cylinder and half pipes. But here I played around with them in yet another different way. Here they are going to be very short bits of them. And therefore also creating some interesting situations. The final track of the extra content, Firefield 2, with very short pipes, very short cylinders and very short half pipes. In order to create... Oh, bye! I love how they jumped off there. Stupid computer players. Okay, this is a very long jump, so keep your nose up. Something the computer players are not able to do, of course. I will make sure I will stay on the track. Because of the Ace Cup tracks not per se being the most difficult ones, it would be nice if I'm actually able to play around on these without retiring a single time. The fact that I retired on the Joker Cup, not a surprise. These ones I should be able to stay alive. These ones are of course also not easy, but also not per se extremely difficult. So far that is going fine. Second lap has been reached. Make sure not to fall off. Especially the cylinders that you land on can be a bit difficult to stay on. The moment your machine attaches itself to it, you can also immediately jump off it again because of the cylinder ending so soon. I found out in the past that falling off is therefore easy to do on those parts. Cylinders are definitely the most annoying part of stages like these. Not even the half pipes. Another one of the cylinders can be tricky. Right, end of second lap. Only one more lap to do. Yeah, the actual final lap of the project. It took so long. eventually even the extra content is going to end. Final lap of this project, even its continued part in the extra content is now going to end. First we need to make sure we reach the finish line in one piece. Half-pipe spiral, survived. 5-cylinder. And yeah, it looks like we have arrived. 0 retirements in this cup. Awesome. Thank you all for watching. This was my final custom track up until now. I technically do have more, but those are a bit special in the sense that they are just the regular tracks, just in reverse. Well, now that I think about it, that might actually also be interesting to show off at some point, but when it comes to the extra content, I don't really have any plans on doing that. So I think I'm keeping it with this. So, F-Zero X. After the release of F-Zero 99, F-Zero has been revived by Nintendo, you might say. Hope has returned for the series of F-Zero. Even though not truly a full new game, it is just a Battle Royale variant of an old one. But still, it is new enough to consider F-Zero as a series to be revived. At least somewhat. Now it is up to Nintendo to decide how they are going to continue with this new edition in the F-Zero library. Does not have to be on Nintendo Switch, can also be on the successor of the Nintendo Switch, but I do have some hope, yet again, after all of these years, that the new F-Zero, an actual new F-Zero, will release and not just a free Battle Royale variant of an old game. Thank you all for watching my old tracks that I actually also showed off on my old YouTube channel at some point. Now I can safely say they're also present on my new channel, which is more of a Let's Play channel, but still, even the old content is now part of it, you might say. I cannot promise that I'm going to return later on with some new content in F-Zero X. For now, I can only say I will see you in F-Zero Maximum Velocity on the Game Boy Advance, which is going to be the next F-Zero project later on. See you folks then. Thank you for playing, and thank you for watching. Treecks out. See you all on the racing track.